everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing all of the books that I read during the month of January. So I'll be going through a brief synopsis for each book, what I rated each book, the formats that I read each book in, and who I would recommend each of these books to. As always, I'm going to first give you a brief overview of what my reading looked like last month. So I ended up reading a total of 6 books and my average Storygraph rating was 4.71 stars. 3 of these books were rereads because I was just really seeking comfort in my books this month. But yeah, I'm really excited to share everything with you. This might be a shorter video, but hopefully next month's reading wrap-up video is a little bit longer. The first book I read was actually on webtoon and it is called Let's Play. This counts as 3 books on Storygraph because it is quite lengthy and there are 3 seasons as of right now. This is definitely one of my favorite webtoons ever, and it follows a video game developer named Sam. Sam is an indie game developer, and a really popular YouTuber named Marshall ends up playing Sam's first published game, and he gives it a really bad review, which essentially tanks her game development career. Sam is really upset about this, and to make matters worse, she finds out that Marshall is moving into her apartment building, which she's really upset about at first, but then she actually ends up forming a friendship with him. There are quite a few parallel plot lines in the story. So first off, Sam has lived a very sheltered life and she is very inexperienced when it comes to romantic and sexual relationships, so she enlists the help of her boss to show her the ropes, and honestly, it is an absolute delight. This is probably my favorite storyline in Let's Play. There are also really intricate plot lines for all of the characters, even the side characters, which I really adored. I also loved getting to see what the video game development world is like, and we also get to see a lot of the main characters playing various video games, which was really fun. I rated all 3 seasons of Let's Play 5 stars, and this is because I love character-based stories, and I think the author does a really good job of giving all the side characters very complex personalities, and obviously the main characters are very well fleshed out as well. I also loved the social anxiety representation, and the love triangle is so well done. I get bored when there is a love triangle and you already know who the main character is going to end up with, but that is really not the case in this story. My only issue is that the 4th season will not be coming to webtoon, and this is really frustrating. I feel like this is the 3rd or 4th webtoon that I've read that this has happened to, so I'm taking a little bit of a break from webtoon because I'm so tired of falling in love with these webtoon stories and then finding out later that they're either going to be discontinued or they're going to be on a very long hiatus. If I do go back to webtoon, I think I'm just going to stick with completed stories, but sometimes authors mark their stories as completed even if they're going to be discontinued, so I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, my absolute favorite character in Let's Play is definitely Charles, and I really hope that one day I get to see how the storyline ends. Since this story is incomplete, I don't know if I can recommend it, but if you're fine with incomplete work, I think this is an incredible story, and it was so refreshing to read a story about someone who is very career focused and is not into dating culture. I mean, dating culture is fine if that's what you're into, but I just wish that we would get more stories like this more often, so yeah, I'm just really happy about that. Next, I reread Dear Erin, and this is literally my 3rd time rereading this. I rated this 4.5 stars, so it's not perfect, but there's just something so comforting about this book, and I can honestly see myself returning to this book again and again, even though I've already read it so many times. I will link the video where I talk about Dear Erin in the description of this video, just in case you're interested in the plot or what I specifically liked about it. After that, I reread The Kiss Quotient on my Kindle. I'm not sure if I've already talked about this book on my channel, but I'll just go ahead and tell you about it anyway. This book follows Stella and Michael. Stella is an econometrician for a really big company, and Michael is a fashion designer slash tailor slash escort. Stella has Asperger's, and this makes it very hard for her to interact with others, especially in a romantic or sexual capacity. Stella does not have a lot of experience with sex, so she hires Michael, who is an escort, to teach her to be better at sex, and they obviously fall in love with each other. Their relationship is one of the sweetest relationships I have ever read about. Michael is so patient and caring with Stella even before he finds out that she has Asperger's, and honestly, he's just as patient and caring with everyone else else in his life too, which I think is really important, and I think it sets him apart from other love interests in other books who are only patient with the main character and no one else. There are a lot of cute scenes in here, and I think it's the perfect balance of a lot of different romantic elements. I rated this book 5 stars, and I think it might be my favorite romance of all time, which says a lot because I have a lot of romances that I enjoy. If you are looking for a romance that has a lot of amazing diversity and representation, I think this is a great one. Michael is half Asian. I forgot his specific ethnicity, but I will put it on the screen, and like I said before, Stella has Asperger's, and I thought that was very well written. I've also read the second book in the series, and I think I also rated that one 5 stars, but there's just something about the kiss quotient that keeps me coming back, and I am definitely going to continue to reread this in the future. The last book I read in January was Chasing Vermeer, and I read this on my Kindle while listening to the audiobook at the same time. This is a middle grade book, and I actually read it once before in either elementary or middle school, and I remember being absolutely obsessed with it because there's a puzzle element to this book, and I absolutely love puzzles. Upon reread though, I definitely think this book is only suited to kids who are in elementary or middle school, and I don't really think it holds up for adults in my opinion. There definitely are middle grade books out there that have held up over time for me, so I thought it was worth a shot. But anyway, this book follows Petra and Calder. Petra and Calder both go to the same school, and they get caught up in a mystery of sorts. Essentially, someone has stolen a Vermeer painting, and the thief has sent out 3 mysterious letters to 3 anonymous people. In these letters, the thief has demanded help with an art scandal that is related to the stolen painting. Petra and Calder get a bunch of clues, and they work together to find out where the stolen painting is. I rated this 3.75 stars. It wasn't a bad book by any means, and I can definitely see why I was so obsessed with it as a child. It also has great diversity representation in it, especially for a middle grade, which is rare to see. I believe both Petra and Calder are people of color. However, the way that the two of them piece the clues together is not as logical as I remember it being. Petra gets a lot of clues in her dreams, which really took me out of the story and made me feel less invested in it. And Calder uses pentomino pieces to think of words that start with certain letters, which is also not a very logical way to get clues. Again, I would probably only recommend this to elementary or middle schoolers because they probably would not think too hard about the way that the main characters end up solving the puzzle and figuring out where the painting is. So that is it for all of the books that I read during the month of January. It was a pretty uneventful reading month for me because I was still adjusting to my new workload this semester, and I was also dealing with a bunch of other things. However, I have already read a few books in February that I can't wait to talk to you about. If you've gotten to this point in the video, I really appreciate it, and I'd love it if you could comment what your favorite book of 2022 was. It does not have to be a book that was published in 2022, but just any book that you ended up reading in 2022. For me, it's probably either Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison or Solitaire by Alice Oseman, although I cannot remember if I actually read Solitaire in 2022 or late 2021. Anyway, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.